pronounced by the Supreme Court of India on the status of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir is an internationally recognized dispute which remains on the agenda of the United Nations Security Council for over 7 decades. The final disposition of Jammu and Kashmir is to be made in accordance with the relevant United Nations Security Council resolutions and in accordance with the aspirations of the Kashmiri people. India has no right to make unilateral decisions on the status of this disputed territory against the will of the Kashmiri people and Pakistan. Pakistan does not acknowledge the supremacy of the Indian Constitution over Jammu and Kashmir, being a dispute, internationally recognized dispute. Any process subservient to the Indian Constitution carries no legal significance. India cannot abdicate its international obligations on the pretext of domestic legislation and judicial verdict. Its plans to annex IIOJK are bound to fail. The judicial endorsement of India's unilateral and illegal action of 5th August 2019 is a travesty of justice based on distorted historical and legal arguments. The Indian Supreme Court's verdict fails to recognize the internationally recognized disputed nature of Jammu and Kashmir dispute. It further fails to cater to the aspirations of the Kashmiri people who have already rejected India's illegal and unilateral actions of 5th August 2019. The judgment is yet another manifestation of the pliant judiciary under India's ruling dispensation. Restoration of statehood, conduct of state assembly elections, or similar steps cannot serve as a substitute to the grant of right to self-determination of the Kashmiri people. The judgment cannot distract the international community's attention from the gross and systematic human rights violations being perpetrated by India in IIOJK. India's unilateral and illegal measures since 5th August 2019 have been aimed at changing the demographic structure and political landscape of IIOJK. In flagrant violations of international law and the relevant UN Security Council resolutions, especially Resolution 122 of 1957. They remain a matter of grave concern for Pakistan, as their ultimate goal is to convert the Kashmiris into a disempowered, disenfranchised community in their own land. These measures must be rescinded to create an environment for peace and dialogue. Pakistan will continue to extend its full political, diplomatic, and moral support to the people of IIOJK for the realization of their right to self-determination. With this statement, I'll be happy to respond to the question that you may like to make.
Thank you so much, sir. Sumaira Khan from Sama Television. Sir, future course of action Pakistan का क्या होगा? Diplomatically, we have been very active. मगर मुख्तसरन अगर पाकिस्तान की आवाम जानना चाहे कि इस फैसले के बाद गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान का क्या रिएक्शन होगा, काइनेटिक, स्ट्रेटेजिक, whatever, क्या इस वक्त पॉसिबिलिटी है? बहुत शुक्रिया.
जी, अपना we will certainly, as I mentioned, that this is our initial reaction to this development which has taken place a short while ago by the Indian Supreme Court. We will convene a meeting very soon of all stakeholders, and we will also decide on the future course of action in that meeting. As I mentioned, that following the 5th August 2019 Indian illegal action, we had launched a campaign internationally, which and we received an endorsement by the international community. The issue was also debated in the UN at the United Nations level. We will certainly write to the United Nations Secretary General, OIC Secretary General, the European Union Parliament, basically apprising them of the futility and this decision, illegality. We will point out the illegalities and the contradictions that are there in this decision. Similarly, we will also, with the help of, we will also apprise of the latest developments and consult with the leadership of all political parties on this very important issue.
Khalid Mahmood Saab.
Jillani साहब, कश्मीर का इशू जो ऑलरेडी सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल में है, पाकिस्तान के पास और फोरम क्या बचता है कि पाकिस्तान अपना केस किस लेवल पे और मजीद लेके जा सकता है?
उसमें एक तो ये है कि आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा कि ये एक जो है, it is the longest, one of the longest issues on the UN Security Council agenda. Or despite attempts by India for the last several decades to basically dilute the impact of the UN Security Council resolutions, we have taken appropriate diplomatic steps in order to maintain the sanctity of the relevant UN Security Council resolutions. The UN Security Council resolutions are sacrosanct, and they will remain on the agenda of the UN Security Council agenda for as long as they are implemented in accordance with the resolutions which have been passed in the past and in accordance with the aspirations of the people of. As I mentioned, that we are in the process of interacting with all the stakeholders, and any other option, we will consider all options after consulting with the relevant stakeholders.